Okay, Henry, thank you first of all for taking the time to do this interview with me. So first off, do you want to kind of go into your background and interest in business for a little bit?
Yeah, so my name's Henry Mersberger. I'm a senior at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and from the state of Wisconsin. So my interest in business kind of began with my father and kind of family influence. And I always kind of had a knack for numbers and math, and I figured, what better way to kind of look into that is going into business. So I applied here to Wisconsin and got into the Wisconsin School of Business, and ever since then I've really been focused on accounting. So my major is accounting, and this next year I'll be completing the IMAC program here at Wisconsin. But more generally, what really interested me about business and specifically accounting was being able to understand business from really a numbers standpoint and understanding what the underlying value of business is and where that's derived from. So basically, the reason I went into accounting was I believe that I could get a better understanding of how business is run, what are the operations, the procedures that create value. And I thought that accounting would give me the best background to have a lot of opportunity and to be able to go into a lot of different industries and spaces and apply like that knowledge to that industry. So really this brought me to an interest in entrepreneurship, seeing that accounting is relevant to every single industry. And so I've actually had some experience, applying my knowledge and like the things that I've learned in school and the frameworks to a startup that I think we're going to talk about here in a little bit. And that's kind of, I've grown through that, being able to apply a lot of the things that I've learned in school, as well as learn from my peers and the people that I've been surrounded with here at Wisconsin, and kind of been able to apply that to like a real world scenario. And so I think that's kind of fueled that interest in entrepreneurship. And I think one of my career aspirations is to someday own my own company. That's kind of what drives me forward.
Awesome. Yeah. So do you want to just dive into your business idea then, like how you came up with it, what kind of things did you put into it, your overall experience?
Yeah. So the way it started was I kind of got involved indirectly through a friend who, and the story starts, there was a neurobio student here around 2 years ago, and he developed a formula that when mixed with coffee or any type of caffeine would produce a cognitive enhancing effect that's similar to Adderall. So he had an idea, but due to his reasons, he wanted to pursue medical school. And my friend was approached by this individual, the neurobiology student, to kind of take on this project and to take the formula that he developed and turn it into a business, really take it wherever he wanted to go. And my friend reached out to me knowing like he had a marketing background and I had an accounting background. We'd be kind of a good mix, him handling more the marketing and operations and me more on like the finance and like capital side of things. So basically what we did was we created Brainy Brew. So what Brainy Brew's our mission is to provide a product, a better for you product that alleviates problems surrounding college campuses with the amphetamine epidemic. So what the amphetamine epidemic is college students and a lot of young professionals are turning to cognitive enhancing drugs that's similar to Adderall, Ritalin, commonly prescribed drugs for ADHD. But these are not students who have ADHD. They just need it for that extra boost because they're feeling the pressures of, school and the world that we live in. And basically what our product is it's a ready-to-go drink. And our vision for it was a ready-to-go drink in a can, and it's a cold brew. And what it is, it's coffee mixed with 4 simple ingredients and that is the formula that the neurobiology student created. So basically, we wanted to make this product available to students to target them and allow them to use a safe drink that they can rely on, that they know what's in it, so that they can use it as a substitute for when they're feeling the need that they need an extra boost, or maybe in the morning, they're feeling a little groggy. It improves memory, it improves focus. Over time, there's been a bunch of clinical studies on all the ingredients, and there's just a lot of cognitive benefits to it, and it's safe, and it basically acts synergistically with caffeine. So that's kind of the basis of our business, and really handling that problem. We really went after it with like a great mindset, and it was a very unique experience. It kind of came out of nowhere, and really we took it to pretty much the lengths of where we could take it. So kind of just giving an update on that, we started that around 2 years ago, and now we have officially kind of put like the kibosh on like operations. Our major issue that we ran into was capital and entering a market with high barriers to entry. And I can kind of talk about all the things that we did over the span of 2 years, and we really gave it our all. And I think that's a part of entrepreneurship, knowing when there's an opportunity, how to take it and the steps to take it. And it's also knowing like when to say, okay, enough is enough. Like, this is not the path that we need to take. Maybe we need to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate. So I've kind of seen both sides of things where you see a lot of potential and you're super excited and things are going quickly. And then I've also seen it on the tail end of, we're running into more roadblocks than we thought. There's more legal issues and things are more complicated than we ever imagined. And that's kind of the complexities you have to deal with. And it's kind of a balance. And in our case, we found that the smartest decision for us was to end our operations and kind of go back to the drawing board. And we're kind of in limbo stage right now.
Okay, yeah. So sounds like you've definitely given the process some more thought. So if you could go back and maybe start over, or maybe start another venture, what are some key takeaways from this venture that you could bring to maybe another project?
Absolutely. I think that one of the things I liked about Brainy Brew was that the mission behind what we started was strong. That was probably one of the best things that we had, really targeting a problem with a solution. I think that one of the difficulties about being an entrepreneur, and I think going back and knowing what I know now, I think that the simpler the idea, the better. We were tackling an issue of consumer education, legal hoops, dealing with consumer products, and we just didn't have the resources to look as in depth into those issues as we wish we could have, which would have been able to provide us more guidance going forward and addressing those. But I would say that the simpler the product offering that you can give, the easier it is to convey to consumers how that product or that solution or service will solve that problem. And I think that takes a lot off of marketing your product. It takes a lot off of the complexities of operating. And I think that was one thing that we never had with Brainy Brew. There was always we're trying different ways. We're trying to finagle our way into this market with basically no capital. Maybe we want to lease out the formula and have somebody else do the production, or maybe we want to find investors or angel investors, blah blah blah. But I think that all the whole time, we just kind of started to realize this idea is a little bit more complex than we ever thought. And I think that was something that definitely in the future, with starting a business, you want to think as simple as possible, and really try and go and have that solution, that simple solution, be directly in line with the mission of that organization. So that was one thing. And then I think one more thing was, just using the resources around you as students. That was the biggest leg we had up.
Right.
We had a partnership with UW Law Services, the Center for Dairy Research. We really utilized all the resources around, and I think that especially when you're facing capital constraints, that's such a key takeaway, that you just need to use the people around you. There's a lot of successful divisions and companies that are willing to help out for a good cause, and I think that that's another major takeaway.
Okay, yeah, that kind of leads into my last question for you. So obviously you're a student here at UW-Madison, studying accounting, definitely have a lot on your plate. Can you go into your experience, how you balanced being as a student and then also kind of managing a startup at the same time?
Yeah, so that can be kind of difficult, and I think that was one of the main things that me and my partner kind of faced was, and one of the best pieces of advice that somebody gave me, and this kind of helped us realize what we need to do and how we needed to kind of slow down things, was one person told me that your product can be amazing and it could solve this problem and whatever, but selling your product is more than a full-time job. It is extremely difficult to get it out to the consumers, and you need to use very aggressive tactics, especially when you're very small. And I think that time was always a thing that was against us, having to deal with classes and dealing with, having a real life, that's things that you still need to do, and finding that balance of, okay, what's important, where can I see the most value coming from, and at times it was really difficult to find that balance. And I would say being committed to school, we kind of always put that first, and I think that was maybe a hindrance in where we could go and how much time we could devote to addressing a lot of those complexities that I mentioned earlier. So I think that, and this kind of goes back to my point about having a simple operating system, a simple solution, is if you can find something that is simple, you don't have to take a ton of time to really dive into each complexity and make sure that you're following all these regulations. And I think that's always going to be a thing, but if you can find ways to alleviate that and to give yourself more time to focus on your product or things like that, I think that that's important. So definitely managing, kind of to wrap it all up, managing all of that is a lot, and it was difficult at times, and I think that it would be easier if we could have quit school and gone full time, but we didn't think that was what we wanted to do. We value school, so it can be kind of a trade-off, kind of a handoff, and I think that's a tough balance to fit.
Definitely. All right, well, thank you again for your time. That was a great conversation.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.